Okay, here's something that I've been planning for quite a while, and it is, well, a series of lists, the best and worst of TV channels. I'm gonna first kick it off with the best of Cartoon Network, and I'm also gonna do Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and also Toon Disney or Disney XD. I mean, Toon Disney and Disney XD is basically the same thing. I'll pretty much put them on the same list. But to kick it off, we're gonna start with Cartoon Network's best shows. Now, okay, well first, let me also say this. These lists, it's just one-off, okay? There's not gonna be second edition, nothing like that, okay? And, and it's just gonna be 20. Alright, so if something you think should be on this list and it's one of your favorites, it's alright. Maybe it was number 21 because, well, for Cartoon Network, there's a lot of great shows. Narrowing it down to the 20 best was a difficult task for me. It was just, there's so much good that Cartoon Network has churned out over the years. Granted, there's also been bad, but there's also been a lot of good, too. So, with that being said, let's start with Cartoon Network's best shows. Now, I must also add with Cartoon Network that it has to be stuff that was either exclusive only to Cartoon Network or Cartoon Network shared with another channel. So, reruns of shows from, like, the past that aired on other channels that never, aired new episodes on Cartoon Network. So stuff like Batman the Animated Series, Animaniacs, those are great shows, but, well, they started on Fox Kids and Kids WB. When they got to Cartoon Network, it was all just reruns, no new episodes, nothing. So shows like that are not, well, gonna be on this list because, well, that's not really fair. I'm trying to, stick up for Cartoon Network as much as humanly possible. And also, oh shit, what was I gonna say? Well, also, but in terms of shows, they are like shared between Cartoon Network. Like, there's new episodes that air on this one show that's gonna have new episodes on Cartoon Network, but also has new episodes on like Teletoon or Kids WB. That's eligible, okay? But reruns of old shows are not eligible. Okay? Okay. When Chowder first came on, it was during Cartoon Network's dark days. When, well, it was like in the Stuart Snyder era, when things started to go down and just nothing really seemed like how it should have been or was originally. And Chowder was just one of the few good shows that was on Cartoon Network. Chowder and Flapjack back then are kind of like what Adventure Time and Regular Show are now, though Flapjack, it's only okay. It's not on the list, I'll tell you that. But yeah, it was created by C.H. Greenblatt, who is more famously known for his work on SpongeBob SquarePants. Yay! And, well, what's Chowder about? Well, Chowder's about this, well, fat, purple cat thing. He looks like a cat. And, well, he's like the apprentice to this one chef, Mung Dahl. And he's also got this assistant named Schnitzel, who's a rock creature, who only says, rada, 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 rada. I've always liked, Schnitzel's voice. And then there's, of course, Mung's wife, Truffles, who is a bit of a whiny bitch, although she can fly. And, there's also other characters. There's Gazpacho, this mammoth who sells them stuff, so they can make whatever dish they need to. And the dishes, I'll say this right now, the dishes' names are like, kind of sound like real stuff, like meatloaf is mean loaf. And then like roast beef, roast most, pizza is pizza. It's fun. like what they come up with, and they don't do anything gross. I mean, I guess pizza is about as gross as it's gonna be because, okay, well, it's not cooking with feet. You gotta like pound the dough with your actual 30 feet, but yeah. There's also Panini, who is Chowder's lover, and probably inspired the design of Anais from Gumball, but we'll get to that. But yeah, never mind. Disregard what I just said. Yeah, Panini. Hi, Chowder. And then there's also her. She's the apprentice to Endive, who is Mung's rival. Basically, the show consists of them cooking different dishes and, getting into, different situations and them, usually getting out on top and other times not so much. A lot of people criticize this show for being really gross. It's not that gross. It's not gross. I mean, Chowder eats a lot of food, but it's not like grotesque where they put every single inch of detail to just make you throw up like certain other shows. But overall, it's funny, and I really enjoy it. I still enjoy it. And a funny thing about this, when C.H. Greenblatt said that when Chowder got canceled, he said it was the happiest thing. Not because he thought the show sucked, but because it took a lot of time out of him. Since, well, Chowder was a really, really big show on Cartoon Network, considering there wasn't really anything else to watch, and this was a great show. I do recommend it to anyone who loves. As you guys may or may not know, I'm a huge fan of Transformers, and the series that got me into Transformers was Transformers Armada. Now, this show has had a lot of controversy, and a lot of fans hate it, because, oh, the animation sucks. They have to find mini-cons, it's like Pokemon, blah, 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 blah. Shut up! I mean, really, finding mini-cons, is that bad? And not to mention, the animation is really good. And Armada even introduced a lot of awesome new characters, like Hotshot, Sideways, Tidal Wave, and even brought back Unicron. Fucking Unicron! He's basically Transformers' version of Satan, damn it. But otherwise, Optimus Prime and the Autobots come to Earth, and, well, it's not like the old days, like G1, where it was finding Energon. They have to find Minicons, because the Minicon ship that came from Cybertron many years ago crash-landed on, there was one that crash-landed on the Moon and Earth, and, well, they gotta find all of them. And, well, the Minicons, they activate different powers in the Transformers, like Hotshot, his Minicon plugs onto his back, not his butt, his lower back. And, well, he's got a wheel, the wheel axle is on his back, the wheel axle flips up, turns, and becomes a over-the-head cannon. And, there's other Minicons that, can activate other things inside Transformers, like other guns, blades, just many other things. And you know what? That's pretty cool. In terms of the show, yeah, like I said, it's fighting Minicons, and then later on they go into space, which is otherwise known as the Unicron battles, where all the Transformers, the Autobots and Decepticons align themselves with each other and have to defeat Unicron, and definitely the better episodes in the series, and it just, wow, it was spectacular, and definitely it was a great place for me to get into Transformers. Superhero cartoons are a really big deal, and, well, most of the time, they're awesome. And, well, Justice League is awesome. This was, well, kind of the second Justice League cartoon ever made, the first one being Super Friends with, I guess you could say, oh, it's not Justice, well, the Super Friends are the Justice League, okay, but we're talking about this Justice League. And, well, it's a follow-up to like Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series, and all the other characters of the Justice League are better introduced than they would be in the cinematic universe. Oh man, DC doesn't know what they're doing with that. But anyway, it had great stories. The characters were very likable. If I was to pick a favorite, I really liked the Flash. Flash is awesome. Wally West. Yeah, Wally West Flash, big deal. But the Flash is awesome. And, well, it had a lot of great episodes and even got a spin-off series, Justice League Unlimited, which is also really good and introduced more members of the Justice League. And just overall, great show to get introduced to like DC, since, well, nowadays they're not going to do that. Yeah, great show overall. Billy and Mandy was, well, first started off as the Grim and Evil show with, it had, this show and Evil Con Carne, which, Evil Con Carne is not bad, but I don't really remember much of it, to be honest. Billy and Mandy, it's one of those cartoons that might appear to be gross, but not really. It's one of those shows where it's a horror comedy. Like, there's scary, freaky stuff, but it is funny, but at the same time doesn't make you think you're tripping balls. Like, Billy's son, Jeff, the giant spider he found in Grimm's, trunk. So yeah, basically, the premise is these two kids, Billy, who is an idiot, and Mandy, who, well, doesn't give a shit about anything and only smiled once in the entire show. Well, they first meet the Grim Reaper when, Billy's hamster is supposed to die, and, Grim is supposed to take him away to, wherever dead people go. And, well, Billy doesn't want that to happen, so him and Mandy make a bet with Grim that if they beat him in something that, well, they get to keep the hamster, and Grim has to be their best friend, and if Grim wins, well, he takes the hamster, and I think takes Billy and Mandy with him too. I can't exactly remember, but overall, Billy and Mandy end up winning the bet, and Grim has to be their best friend forever. And the rest of the show is their different misadventures, and they often meet other monsters like, that one shadowy demon guy that, I can't remember his name, but, a bunch of other freaky stuff that's, well, funny, and, and there's even nice references to other things, and stuff that kids are probably gonna get. Like Star Wars, Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, when it was still rerunning on Cartoon Network, and many more. As opposed to Iron Giant Easter egg and fucking 2001 A Space Odyssey, like another show. Okay, alright, let me calm down. Overall, Billy and Mandy, awesome. Freaking fantastic. And, well, yeah, it had to come to an end someday. The newer episodes were okay, but, well, at least it didn't completely suffer like another show. It's not Cartoon Network. Some of you probably haven't heard of this show, which I've had some friends that, are like, what's this? And, well, Symbiotic Titan, it was around, like, the resurrection of Cartoon Network, that time in 2010. It debuted, and it was created by Genndy Tartakovsky, who's otherwise known as the creator of Dexter's Lab, and I think he did Foster's? I can't remember. No, he didn't do Foster's, but anyway, yeah, and this was the last Genndy Tartakovsky Cartoon Network show ever made. So, what's the story? Well, these three aliens come to Earth, and while they're being chased by this one group of aliens, and well, they have to, defend themselves. They're kind of like anti-heroes. It's Lance, Alana, and the robot Octus. They're kind of anti-heroes. They're not really. They're more like fending off themselves. They didn't really plan to defend Earth, but they just happened to. And what's the Titan part, you may ask? Well, it's when, Lance with his armor combines with Alana in her armor and Octus. Lance forms the bulk of it, Octus forms the clear armor over it, and Alana forms the heart, which joins all three of them. Which I can't remember what. Is it like Gurren Lagann or something? But I don't know. But anyway, it's like a more mature version of Power Rangers, quite frankly. And it's a shame it got canceled. But it get replaced with Problem Solvers. Fuck that. Symbiotic Titan, I would love to see the return of it, but at this point, Genndy Tartakovsky is not at Cartoon Network anymore, and considering the bullshit they've claimed with this, I don't see it happening. I would love for it to happen, but it's not going to, I don't think. Now, left on such a cliffhanger, and spoiler alert, Lance gets captured by the government, and now the government is onto Lance, Alana, and Octus. Season 2 could have gone into more in depth with that, but no. We gotta cancel! Disappointing. This is the most recent show on this list, and I haven't seen Tom and Jerry Show or Clarence looks okay. Tom and Jerry Show, I'm not so sure. But anyway, Steven Universe, created by Rebecca Sugar, best known for being one of the greatest writers for Adventure Time. And, at first, I was skeptical. It's because, some of the ads look like, this would probably be an average cartoon or maybe sucky. But I'm surprised how much I love it. It's about this kid named Steven Universe. And, he's part of this thing called the Crystal Gems, which his mom was a part of, but, his mom died when she gave birth to him, and, the gem was passed from her to him, and there's 3 other crystal gems, Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl. They, protect shit, and it's kind of like Adventure Time, but doesn't have as much fantasy in it, which definitely makes it its own show. It's like if Adventure Time took place in, more realistic world, which I dig. Steven does also have his dad, although he doesn't really do much, and he runs a car wash. But the episodes that they come up with are quite hilarious, and the characters are quite likable. My least favorite character would probably be maybe Garnet, because she doesn't do a whole lot. Amethyst and Pearl do more. Pearl is the more motherly version of them. Garnet, the most serious, and Amethyst is like Steven, playful and just wants to have fun. And, sometimes you need characters like that. Definitely one of the best Transformers series ever. So, how's this? The story of Animated is kind of sort of like G1. I mean, it's Autobots and Decepticons going to Earth. Okay, we get that. But, in this version, Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots typically, he's not leader of the Autobots. It's Ultra Magnus, the pussy from the '86 movie that couldn't open the damn Matrix because he wasn't the one. Yeah, Optimus Prime, he's like an academy dropout, and he works on space bridges with 4 other Autobots. An old ass named Ratchet, who's basically Cup. If Transformers, animated Ratchet is... It's Cup, pretty much. Then there's Prowl, who's this ninja guy who looks nothing like any other version of Prowl, but neat take nonetheless. And then there's Bumblebee, and Bulkhead, who are voiced by none other than SpongeBob and Patrick. Seriously. Not to mention how they play off each other. It's like SpongeBob and Patrick. Old SpongeBob and Patrick, not that current bullshit. But, yeah. And it's, well, the Decepticons were defeated for years, but they come back again. And, well, Megatron crash lands on Earth and the 5 Autobots. And then, like, 50 years later, they wake up and, well, you know, do some shit in Detroit, like defeat some weird monsters from chemical reactions, and the Decepticons when they finally come. The action, animation, and, well, characters are really nice. I do like Starscream. He is sinister, but he isn't a whiny bitch. And he's also voiced by Tom Kenny. And he uses the same voice for Starscream as he uses as when he's the Ice King in Adventure Time. And, well, basically they also have to get the Allspark. Fraction of the Allspark kept Starscream alive, and also brought Megatron back to life. And, well, towards the end, everything gets a lot more serious, and in the end, Megatron and the Decepticons are arrested. Starscream dies because that bit of the Allspark that kept him alive for like a bunch of episodes, you know, finally is removed from him and he dies. And Prowl, who sacrificed himself, dies. And also there is a neat twist too in the Autobot ranks, which I won't spoil now. But, well, hey, and not to mention it had a lot of nice moments, and just, it was so refreshing for Transformers overall, especially you know, since the only other Transformers thing at the time was Bayformers. This is a nice, you know, escape from. Before this show premiered, I had low expectations for it. I mean, the title, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, I was thinking, this is probably one of those shows that's only going to last maybe 10 episodes and will only be okay, but again, my expectations were low, and I was very impressed. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is very enjoyable. It stars this little kid named Mac who has an imaginary friend named Blue, and, well, Mac kind of has to get rid of Blue because he's a little old for Mac. So he decides to put him in this foster home, and as long as Mac visits Blue every single day, unless otherwise noticed, Mac will get to keep Blue, and Blue won't be put up for adoption. And same also goes for a bunch of other friends that Blue and Mac make at the house, that being Coco, who suffers from Schnitzel syndrome and can only say one word, Coco. There's Eduardo, who is this purple bull thing. Oh yeah, Coco is a combination of a bird and a palm tree. And then there's Wilt, who's like one of those, it's like a sock, it's like a combination of a sock monkey and the top of a palm tree. And he also really likes to play basketball. And then there's Frankie, who, big shock, Mac has kind of a crush on. Oh my god. The episodes, the humor is fantastic. There's some episodes I don't like. There's one in particular that pisses me the fuck off, the Bendy episode. Thank God he's not in any other episodes. At least I think. And, you know, sometimes Fosters could get dark, like the one where Frankie was, like, dragged into a toy box. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. And Fosters also went on to win multiple awards for just being an outstanding cartoon. And it truly shows. Fosters is an outstanding cartoon. I like this show better than Ben 10. There, I said it. Sue me. Go ahead and sue me. No, don't sue me. I'm broke, bitch. But yeah, Generator Rex. I saw this one worst Cartoon Network list, where the guy complained, "Oh, Generator Rex, it's such a ripoff of Ben 10." Yeah, Ben 10 I found kind of a ripoff of like Kamen Rider and Power Rangers. Generator Rex, it's kind of like that, but it's also its own thing. It's about this kid named Rex who has this thing in him called nanoids, which normally like badly affect other people, like turn them into monsters. But Rex's are different, and well, he's got to get all the nanoids out of people because, well, that's not good. We can't have monsters running around, and Rex also absorbs the nanoids after defeating whatever monster. This show could get dark. The action was fantastic, top notch, and well, definitely deserved that TV PG rating for Cartoon Network. And yeah, it was such a great action show, and unfortunately came down at the same time Young Justice and Green Lantern did. Basically, that early 2013, when Cartoon Network's like, fuck action shows, we're getting rid of them. Did you hear us, guys? We are getting rid of action shows. At least that's what the mentality seemed to be. Yeah, Rex is a bit of a cool kid. More likable than Ben, to be honest. Ben was kind of a little bitch sometimes. Rex, well, he's, sometimes playful, but at the same time, knew what the fuck he was doing. And he had a monkey partner, I can't remember his name, but he was voiced by Joe DiMaggio. There's a talking monkey. And it's not retarded. He actually kicks ass. And then there's Agent 6, who looks like Agent Smith from The Matrix, that also helps Rex. And overall, Generator Rex is a fun, action-packed action show. This show quickly grew on me. Gumball, when I first saw the commercials, I was like, it's probably going to be average, maybe good, maybe really good. And, like, the first episode was fine. The second episode, terrible. Just awful. Remind me of SpongeBob, new SpongeBob, which I hate. But, as, the third episode and onward, it's been great. What's it about? Well, it's kind of a show about nothing. Like Seinfeld. Essentially, there's not really a plot. It's more like misadventures of this kid named Gumball, who's a blue cat, with his pet friend Darwin, who's a goldfish that can also breathe air. Just don't question it. And well, it's unique, and he has also got his little sister Anais. Yeah, and yeah, their parents. Richard Watterson is this fat pink bunny rabbit who's a stay-at-home dad because he's unemployed, despite the fact that he wears a shirt and tie. And the mom, Nicole Watterson, who's blue cat like Gumball, she's the one who basically brings the money in. And yeah, different animals mating together to have kids. I'm okay with that because, well, you can only take the same animals marrying each other, and only the one animal can be with the same animal for so long. Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck and Daisy Duck, and so on. Stuff like that. And not to mention the animation, well, it's like multiple styles. There's like Flash, traditional hand-drawn, CGI, and they all take place on, realistic backgrounds, which is very, very unique and is very benefits the show. And well, Gumball and his family are like I think that's Flash anyway. And then there's like the T-Rex and the robot are CGI. And then the balloon looks hand-drawn, to be honest. Like a blend of hand-drawn and CGI. And, well, they do get in some misadventures, but they really have me laughing out loud. And it's not stupid funny. It's like, yes, Gumball is a win. Gumball I love you. Now stay tuned for part 2 of this video where I go down the top 10 best. See you then.